Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast, episode 41. For those of you scoring at home, I'm Dave.
I'm Ron. How are ya?
What do we got for 41?
Jeff Reardon.
Jeff Reardon. Is that a NASCAR driver?
No, that was the closer for the Red Sox in the early 90s that I didn't like.
Oh.
He also pitched for the Expos. Good pitcher for the Expos. I think he's from Lynn, Massachusetts, as a matter of
wow.
A local kid that never lived up to his reputation with the Red Sox. So when you said it was 41, that was the first thing that popped in my head.
He might be the only guy that never lived up to expectations playing for the Red Sox. Just saying.
That's true. That's true. I never lived up to my reputation for managing the Red Sox. That's for sure.
Oh, boy. So anyway, ways to get a hold of us. Digitaltodice.com is our website. That's where we park all the episodes over on Spreaker.com. We have a text line, 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. And our Facebook group, which is growing by leaps and bounds every day.
274?
We're adding all kinds of people to our Facebook group.
I wake up in the morning and there's someone to add.
Yep, and at night I'll be sitting there at night watching something on YouTube, and bing, someone wants to join the group. So yeah, so it's been pretty cool. So that is facebook.com/groups/digital to dice, and we talk about games there. Obviously, we post our results, and we get game information from time to time, and that's where some of the developers post their game news there as well. So it's kind of neat.
Speaking of which, don't you have some news from regular season basketball?
Yeah, we do. So should we get into some news here first thing?
Let's do that. Aunt Becky, Kimmy says that orange really is the new black.
We're going to have a few weeks of that.
I don't know how Kimmy knows that.
Aunt Becky, what are visiting hours this week?
Don't you be checking Uncle Jesse's phone like that again.
That's right. So anyway, you guys know I'm a fan of a regular season basketball game. I've really come to enjoy that. And Marco posted that the 76-77 NBA season will be available this weekend, which is Memorial Day weekend.
This Memorial Day weekend, yeah.
Yeah, and so if it's not up on the site now, it will be. And then following up, and maybe as soon as Monday, the 74-75 ABA basketball season.
He scored a handful of ABA Sporting News press guides.
I saw that, yeah.
And what a score that is, because those aren't cheap.
And so he sent me this big long message about he's going to have, he's been rejuvenated. So thanks to the listeners of the show.
Thank you, yeah.
Who have gone and bought his seasons. It's recharged that regular season basketball game. Start making some more seasons. That is really a fun game. It's a quick play game, and it's a medium play game. And in fact,
it's the shootout hockey equivalent of basketball.
Yeah. And in fact, today's topic is quick play games. We always forget to forget the topic of the show right off the bat. But we're going to talk quick play games once we get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
You yelled at me last week because I blew the Aunt Becky joke. And I'm still recovering.
You are. We thought, that maybe she had a cease and desist on the Aunt Becky jokes. That's what somebody said. We're not sure. But anyway, regular season basketball, some new seasons coming out by Marco. rsbasketball.jimdofree.com is the website. rsbasketball.jimdofree.com, I believe, is the website. Just search for regular season basketball, or just visit our Digital to Dice Facebook page. And
Marco's a member.
Marco's there, and he posted that. That's where he posted there, and he also sent me a message. So we're excited to announce some more seasons for regular season basketball. Ron, Roberto Schiavini.
Yeah. It doesn't have any new games out this particular week, but if you join his Facebook group, Roberto Schiavini Games, he generally has something on sale every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so always good to have that. And he posts his newsletter. So if you're looking to see what he's making that's new, that's the place to go. And Dave and I occasionally post videos of stuff that we play from his games. So for Roberto Schiavini Games on Facebook, it's a private group. And then so you get to see the Friday, what he announces on Friday for sale, and it's the first look at at what's new in his catalogs.
Yep, and he came out with some new hockey seasons not that long ago either for Kill the Power Play.
75-76 is the most recent one, right?
He came out with 2 seasons, yeah. And that was pretty fun. So he's starting to build that. So it's fun. It's really fun to see some of these games that we've latched on to as kind of a community, and now they're making new seasons for them. That's fantastic. Big thumbs up for everybody doing that. Okay, so want to get into what we're playing? Ron, why don't you go first?
All right. Well, I pulled out I was glad to see. Speaking of independent games, I was glad to see the Basketball Classic Above the Rim, which is made by Wayne Poniwaz. It's a derivative of Status Pro Basketball. If you know the name Wayne Poniwaz, you've played 2nd and 10 football. That's his game.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, and we're going to see if we can post that onto our Facebook group because it's a free game. And so I'm trying to figure out a basketball replay I might enjoy. It doesn't take 2 hours to play. I started replaying the 85-86 Celtics season. Every season's been done, by the way. And there's a whole bunch of college teams. But you need Excel to play it. You can't do it with OpenOffice, and you can't do it with Google Spreadsheets. You do need Excel. But you have 60 seasons available to you in pretty much every era. And, of course, Celtics go to New Jersey on opening night, and what do? They lose. Larry Bird fouled out. Dan Ainge fouled out.
Oh, no.
It's very much like choose your own adventure book. You'd call it whack-a-mole. But because it's all on the spreadsheet, you have to tell the spreadsheet how to record the results. And for me, that's enough involvement. Okay? 2-pointer, 3, and it gives all the stats in that. An incredible game. And I can play it in about 40 minutes. For a basketball game.
That's really good.
That's really fast. It's all fast action card driven, and you can take your time and read. Okay, Larry Bird takes a shot. He has 15 shot attempts. It just gives you a random shot attempt number, and if it is, great. If not, you just go to the next fast action card. And then so if he takes a shot, you hit the button marked 2-pointer. And it just rolls a random number between 1 and 100. If it's good, great. So you record everything. So it gives you the experience of doing the score sheet without having to write the sheet down. And at the end of the game, if you look at our group, you see where I had the box score posted. It gives you a beautiful box score.
I'm going to have to ask you to do a video on that because I think I tried it. And I had no idea what to do.
You wouldn't like it because there really isn't any decisions to make.
Which sometimes I can deal with. I really can because there's not a lot of decisions to make in shootout.
For a one-off, it really is for the classic replay because you can match any 2 teams.
I'd have to see it in action, and I know one of our members on the Facebook group posted a quick video of it, which really helped me. It was like just 10 or 15 seconds long, I think it was, but he showed. I was like, wow, okay, at least I have an idea what to do. Yeah. So I would need a good tutorial on that because I saw you posting and I was like, this looks neat, but I couldn't get it to move. I didn't know what button to hit and the whole bit. So
it really is, I think, the best free game out there because it's all available. And if you know how to cut and paste, you can even have it keep stats for you.
Oh, there you go.
So anyway.
I've tried a few of those. I've tried a few of those Excel games, especially the basketball ones.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Some of them looked like there was, someone turned a 1960s color TV on and it had an explosion.
Yeah, but there's some that they're laid out nice, but I just can't figure out what to do. I would really need a step-by-step instruction, and I would need step-by-step on how to change the teams. You know, I'm just not that familiar with that kind of setup. So I do it, and I get frustrated because I don't know how to do anything, and I just give up because, man, I don't even know where to start. I click on stuff. It doesn't work. I don't know how to change the team. So for me, I need a lot of hand-holding with the Excel games because they're all a little different. Just me.
Yeah. So I've been doing that. I did some 78 baseball replay, which took a couple days hiatus because the weather here in northern New England is just
unbelievable.
Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So that will resume again next week. Past the All-Star game, we're heading into August. I actually think that we won't finish if they start real baseball by July 4th, but we're going to be in the last month of the season. Did some tennis elbow 13. I hate clay court tennis. I hate playing clay court tennis. I seem to be good at it. And your favorite, Action PC Golf. I know you love the game to pieces. Anyway, so I did a tournament at Torrey Pines, South, San Diego, or Tiger, what is last year was open. And the wind is howling, and so the ball's going everywhere. And yet, frustration level, shot a 75 on Sunday, still finished 20th. But yes, it's kind of, that was last week's topic. How real is too real? Oh, yes. So the baseball game, I'll spoil this one for you. I'm so behind on YouTube getting things scheduled, and I've really got to do that. Dodgers and Pirates, 78th season. Pittsburgh is down 7-2 in the seventh.
Yeah.
And they score 5 in the last 3 innings to tie the game, okay? And so we got a pretty good crowd on Twitch watching. So we hit the bottom of the 11th inning. It's Bob Welch, and I forget who the hell's pitching for Pittsburgh. I'm almost out of pinch hitters. I got the pitcher spot due up, I think, 4th in the inning. I got a base. So I got Mario Mendoza. And if those of you out there know who Mario is, and if you don't, there's called the Mendoza line. If you couldn't hit above Mario Mendoza's career average, you should never have been a major league hitter.
That's used for a lot of things. That Mendoza line is used for a lot of things. What's that like? Is that so? That just means like average or below average, or? Oh
no, Mendoza was like a 200 career hitter.
Okay,
and so that would be below average. That's Euchre stuff. Okay, the equivalent would have been Bob Euchre doing this. Okay, and so Mendoza comes to the plate. There's one out. There's nobody on. And it's like, you've got to pinch hit for Mario Mendoza. And I go to my pinch hitters, and I've got Burt Blyleven, and I've got somebody else. And I know if the game moves ahead, I've got to use that other pinch hitter because I got to change my pitcher. National League game and all that. And so I do say in the chat, Mendoza can homer. Like a 2% chance of doing it, but he can homer. He had, I think, 1 or 2 in that season. And I'm going to bat him. It's an out. I know it's going to be an out. We'll get to the next batter. We'll go from there. I was prepared to go the 13, 14, 15 innings. It's Bob Welch. It's his rookie year. That's the year that he struck out Reggie Jackson in the World Series in Game 1, and then Jackson took him deep in Game 6. So, which won the Yankees the series. Memories I try to forget. So it's Welch versus Mendoza, and I pressed the button to swing, and the ball just kept going and going, and it was gone. And Mario Mendoza had walked it off 8-7. Now, we got a couple big Dodger fans that watch live, and they had heart attacks. And it's one of those rare games. It'll be like the ones that we remember forever. The walk-off safety. The kickoff return for a touchdown as the gun sounds from the Patriots-49ers game. This is one of those games that you'll never forget because, A, it was a hell of a comeback, and B, it'd be the equivalent of me walking off a Major League game with a home run.
Well, the Action PC games do a good job of end-the-game drama. They really do.
It's funny because you'd mentioned that. We had done a doubleheader the day before, and they were 2 of the most boring games I think I'd ever done. Texas went 18 innings without a run, and they committed 6 errors in the process, and they got shellacked by Baltimore in both those games. Here's your Fortnite fact of the day. It's things that you would never hear on Fortnite as your eyes start to glaze.
Yes, Monty, I'll take die number 3.
The word shellac.
Okay,
your grandmother's records were made of shellac, the old 78s. Shellac is made from the bug lac, and it's secretions left on trees. And so they would literally scrape the secretions off the tree, let it dry, and then press it together, and that's how early plastics and records were made.
Wow.
See, I saw that last night, and I was wondering when I get the chance to use it, and so I go, Dave's going.
This could be a whole second new podcast. We could like a Discovery Ron channel,
And so I go, no, just hang with me here. This would be in the nightly streams. This is so long a story. It's not. So that's how that was the material they made the early records out of.
They used to make tapes out of mud, for crying out loud. So yeah,
anyway, that's what I've been playing.
Nice. Speaking of tennis, I've been watching a lot of tennis on YouTube, like great shots and great saves and great volleys. Oh, man, there's been some unbelievable shots in tennis. So it's enjoyable to watch. I'm not a big tennis guy, but, I mean, it's fun watching those greatest shots. All right, so what have I been playing? If you can believe it, I started playing APBA baseball. I did. Yeah. One of the listeners of the show says, I want you to try APBA baseball. And he sent me APBA baseball, and I think he sent me the 78 season. And so I set up a Kansas City Royals Boston Red Sox game. It was a lot of fun. I started playing APBA Go on the computer, and APBA Go is a fantastic tutorial for APBA baseball.
Yes.
You can follow along. It tells you what happened. So I had the rule book in front of me. And I started, as I would roll the dice in APBA Go, I'd follow it on the rule book. And I was like, okay, is it a double? And it's a double. Okay. Is this a strikeout? It's a strikeout. And I would follow along, and I was like, oh, I'm getting the hang of it. So I went upstairs and I played a game on the table with the cards and had a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah, and
Good.
so what I want to do now is, now that I played some APBA, I need to go back to Strat Baseball, and I'm going to play the 1980. I'm going to play the 1980 World Series. I have played Strat in the past, but it's been months. So what I'd like to do, while APBA is fresh in my head, I want to play a game of Strat, and then kind of in my own head compare and contrast. Okay, because now that I've played them both, and I know it's been a while since I played Strat, I did not dislike either one. So this compare and contrast is not going to be, oh, this one's great, this one sucks. It's just going to be, what is the differences between the two? That's all it's going to be, because I like them both. So just be clear that I didn't know anything about APBA.
Your asbestos suit, right?
My asbestos suit.
The second you post a video like that, you are going to get barbecued.
I'm not going to do a video.
Okay.
I'm just going to just casual talking. I'm going to do my Strat games. I'll play that offline. And but in my own head, I'll be like, oh, so what are the differences between the two? So we can when we get on the show now, at least I can talk a little bit about them both. Say, hey, I played them both, and here's what I like about whatever. So I played some APBA baseball, and then also, cheapest creepers, the listeners of the show have been unbelievable.
Haven't they? Thank you.
And I know I'm out of work and the whole bit, and maybe that plays into it, but I had another listener. Again, the other listener that sent me the Strat basketball, so I've been playing Strat basketball thanks to him. And somebody else sent me some more seasons for the third guy sent me seasons for APBA. So I think it was like 2005, 2007. And he sent me the hockey game, And so I got – and the guy that sent me the baseball game sent me the football game with a couple of teams. It's like, holy cow. So, of course, these are all APBA people, but they're like, hey, I got some extra stuff here. Why don't you check them out? So I got the APBA baseball, the APBA football, the APBA hockey now all upstairs. I've only played the baseball. So it's just been fantastic that people have sent me some stuff so I can try them out and play, and that's been so cool, because I couldn't really buy these things right now, being out of work and the whole bit. Along with that, we had a fun time here. We had a fun show last Friday night. Was that a week ago?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, Ron had his ABC banner that hangs up behind him. If you've ever seen one of his streams, and it was on the bed, and he rolled in it, and he looked like pigs in a blanket, and he got all tied up in it, and he was wrestling the banner, and he actually lost, and he had to call in some help. The manager had to come in and take the banner off from him and the whole bit. It was a fun live stream. But what I ended up doing is going into Fire Pro Wrestling, and I took Ron and ID, and I had them face their nemesis, which would be the ABC Sports banner and Stratomatic, in a tag team match in Fire Pro Wrestling, and it was absolutely hysterical. It really was. And what's kind of neat is that spawned, I think our Red Sox fan did some friends of the community in Fire Pro Wrestling, and someone else sent me an email too that said they're going to do Fire Pro Wrestling with just renaming wrestlers of people in the community, and that's fun. It is. So Fire Pro Wrestling on Steam, I think it's on PlayStation too, but on Steam it's so fun. You can customize. I customized the ring to be a digital to dice ring, so we could fight in the digital dice ring. So, we played some Fire Pro Wrestling with people that we know. It was kind of fun, this tag team match. Player of the Game Golf. I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but I finally set up Player of the Game Golf, and I did a stream of that, showing a little bit how to play that. That's a fun game. Player of the Game Golf is really good by Downey. I really like play of the game golf. That was good. Played some more shootout hockey. Played the 78 Blackhawks against the 78 Rockies. That was a fun game. And then lastly, and I'm saving the last for worst, unfortunately, I went back to my Spiders baseball season in Action PC Sports from 1899, and I've been having all kinds of streaming problems with my software, and the software has been great for about a year, and for some reason now it's not connecting to YouTube, and then it does, and then it stops, and so I tried a couple of games, and the streams kept getting messed up. I got frustrated. The first inning of one of the games, the Spider guy, the shortstop, 2 ground balls, 2 errors, and I'm already losing.
The error though.
And it was, but it was just between the frustration of the streaming, and then this guy making errors, and then something else. So I ended up just I simmed the game, pause, shut down, try to start up another stream, and I ended up playing the game with the Spiders, but just with all the technical difficulties I had, and then they kept stealing on me.
It has to be fun.
Maybe that's the error, but it just seemed like first to second to third. So I've had that glitch before.
That definitely is the error.
Okay, so maybe that's what it is. But it just felt like every pitch, every runner was stealing. It's like, boy, this is weird. And then I played one team, and they got 2 inside the park home runs on me in the same game. It's just like, and I know I'm playing the Spiders, and they're terrible.
Oh, and those ballparks were big. It was 460, 470 to dead center.
Yeah, and so it was kind of fun. It was fun for a while, but between the technical difficulties, and then I had the Spiders they gave up like 5 runs in the 9th, and I was just like, oh no, I don't want to do that. So I kind of gave up on the project. I really did. So yeah, long story short, the Spiders project it fizzled out on me because it stopped being fun.
It's unique because they were so terrible, but that kind of goes into why people don't usually go for terrible teams, because you can, Pigpen was funny in Peanuts, but you wouldn't want to see him every day.
Yeah.
It does start to stink after a while.
I think a lot of it had to do with the glitches I was having and the problems streaming, and I'm looking into some new streaming software, so maybe that would help. So maybe I'll pick it up again at some point, but yeah, I threw in the towel. I got so aggravated, and I just was like, this is not fun. It's showing that it's not fun, and people would dislike it in the video, and I don't blame you. I might dislike it myself because I was aggravated. So I'll have to come back to that one there, but I got enough things to play that are fun, and so the Spiders thing, like I say, it's on. Although I did sim the entire season, and they won a lot more games than they did in real life. So
really,
yeah, they did. I think they only won 20 in real life, and I want to say they won 30 or 36. Yeah, they didn't do bad. And none of the games I played, they won.
They did, but
none of the games I played did they win. But so anyway, so the Spiders are that's a
newspapered.
That's a tangled web right now.
Arachnophobia was killed.
Yeah, it was a fun idea. It just it didn't come together.
You might have more fun with the 62 Mets, or because they only won 40 games.
Well, the idea, I like the teams that don't exist. That's always been my draw.
You could do like the 69 Expos.
Yeah, maybe, but they still kind of exist, and they're more. I like
they do. Yes, they do.
Oh, Anyway.
Oh God, we're talking about baseball, and Dave doesn't like.
I know too much baseball. Anyway, so you want to get to the main topic at hand?
Let's get to the main topic. Aunt Becky, you really can't keep looking at Uncle Jesse's search history on his phone.
Oh, yes, you can. You got to clear those out once in a while,
Yes, you do.
So anyway, today's topic, as we mentioned earlier, is quick play games. So do you play quick play games? How much enjoyment can you get out of a quick play game? And I don't know, Ron, take it away.
No, I think that's where it is. Is it enough detail for you? There's a couple schools of thought. I think quick play games are very good if you're a casual fan of the sport, because it gives you enough of the flavor of it to give you either A, just a quick final score, or B, we'll say for the reasons of this, the regular season basketball and shootout hockey are quick play games, or highlight games. That you're not actually playing out the game, you're rolling for results. And it can take you anywhere from 30 seconds to 20 minutes. I would consider those a quick play game. as opposed to a complete possession by possession game. I guess with the football, maybe a drive by drive game. Would you consider that a quick play game?
No, I would consider a quick play game something that you roll the dice and you get almost an instant outcome of the game. There's a medium play game. I would consider shootout hockey and
okay, that's fair.
Regular season basketball, regular season basketball. Well, it's kind of quick play, but you roll. You have 16 rolls of the dice for each team. It goes quick. So I guess it's a quick play game, but if you think of quick play games like, okay, like when I did my entire season in Downey's Final Score hockey, I played every single game.
Which is definitely a quick play game.
Yeah, but that was like roll for this team, roll for that team, there's your final score, and you're done.
Roberto Civini's got some of those.
Yep.
Sealock, you tested out the hockey one.
The Mike Sealock games are fun. Yeah, I haven't played the hockey one yet that he just put out. He's got a couple hockey games out now. The new one was Downtime Hockey. He kind of said he created it, while he was, sitting around here doing that, and that's a fun game too. It's a very unique type of game.
Roberto's Civini's killed the power play is a quick play game. The two rugby games I have are quick play games. One is 2 rolls to resolve, and the other one I think is 3 rolls to resolve. He's got a quick play baseball game, which I got to try, which is you roll inning by inning and then do that.
That's still kind of quick play. I mean, you think quick play and you think a game you can play in a minute. You take 2 teams, you look at their offense and defense, you come up with a modified rating. That's how a lot of these play out. Maybe you factor in one other modification.
Yeah, you had a clutch roll, I think, for the Final Score hockey, right? Has that?
There's a clutch roll. Either that was close game factor. That's another one there. So in other words, if it was a tie or a 1-goal game, you get one last roll, small percentage chance to tie it up, and that was fun. That was very enjoyable.
When we had Bruce Kish on about a year ago, he's the classic hockey, and some teams could have up to 2 clutch rolls. So you could be down. Montreal could be down 2 or 1 at the end of that because that game you could break down by periods, 1 roll per period. And so they could be 3-2 at the end, with a minute to go in the third period. And Montreal, depending on what year, could have 2 clutch rolls, and so they could take 2 points away from a game that they should have lost. And yes, it does take a global pandemic to put the real life Habs in the playoffs, but I'll take it.
But yeah, usually the quick play games are like the 1 or 2, 1 roll for each team, but I guess in those games, like I say, if you go period by period, it's 3 rolls per team. Still a quick play. Baseball, it would be 18 rolls because you'd have 9 innings and you'd roll for each inning. I guess that would still be considered a quick play game.
The player of the game golf that you played in Roberto's Heroes of the Slam Golf, which you roll once per round, to get the score. I mean, those are the things. And you can either do it if you're a casual fan and just want a score, or, tell me a story, or I'm going to create my own story. Or the other thing that they're very useful for is, let's say you were doing a single team replay. Let's say you just took the 70-71 Bruins and played that out on Strat or Hockey Bones or whatever it is that you want to do. And then you would use the kill the power play to play everything else. So you'd have, if you didn't want to do like buy the Strat season for it and run on the PC, you could do the games that you want to do and then quick roll through everything else, and then you'd at least have standings and playoffs, so you could go through.
I like to use those games to do. Sometimes I don't know if I do a one-off per se because it'd be over in a second. So I would either do some kind of a tournament where you have all the teams and you get the 1 roll and you're done, like I did, the kill the power play when I took the worst of the expansion teams, and then the best of all the teams that went to the finals. So I did 2 different products, good and bad, and I just put them in I think it was 32 teams I did or something like that, or 16 teams or whatever. But I played them out just single rolls for each team, and I did it in an hour or 2. I mean, it took 45 minutes to set up, but then I rolled the games in less than an hour, and so that would be a quick play game. But that was so much fun, seeing which team advanced, and if you're doing a 7-game series, it's fun to see who wins the games. So
it would take you a long time to do if you played all that.
Yeah, so if you wanted to play a 7-game series, you wanted to do it in an afternoon, you could bang it out in an hour or less with a quick play game. Whereas if you were doing an APA or a strat and you were doing 7 games, if it went all 7, you'd be at that for quite some time. Nothing wrong with that, but we're talking quick play games and says, can you get some enjoyment out of it? And I found that's how I started with this. I started with the quick play games.
You did.
With the shootout and a lot of the Downey games. And I was getting instant results, and it was kind of fun. And the thing is, with those type of games, you tend to take on bigger projects because it goes a lot faster. And there's some people that we've talked about, here on the show that have playing every single game of every single, team in a season, and it's like, oh my gosh! I mean, was there like 1,000 games to play? And like, yep, I'm 4 years.
It's 2,430.
Yeah, this one guy was doing a hockey season. It's like, how long does this take? He's been at it 4 years. He's in no hurry, and that's fine. And he's loving it, and he's keeping the standings and playing every single game. And if a game is like 45 minutes to an hour, boy, that's God bless the guy that does that. You know what I mean? But for me, I would want to play the quick play game. Like I said, I did the 70-71 season, played every game, even did the playoffs. And that took me like 4 or 5 days. It took me a long time to set it up, but then I rolled the games and I got the final score, and I had a lot of fun with that. It was a bulk project, with the final score. Or like I say, or I would do a playoff with a playoff tree, and then and it's something where if you're a little bit impatient and you're like, I want to do a quick project here. I get this thing in my mind. I want to play this World Series. I want to play, the playoff. Like I did the WHA playoffs from one of the years, and I set up all the teams, and they played. Everything was a 7-game series, but it was quick play. It was I got my modified results. Roll for this team, roll for that team, final score, game 1. Roll for this team, roll for that team, final score, game 2. And so I could do all the games of the playoffs in a night.
It gives you all that drama.
And it does. Yeah.
And it does. I mean, okay, we're tied, or the favorite didn't get a good roll, so it only got 2 goals. Can the underdog go through and steal a game on the road?
Yeah, well, I told you the final game of that WHA and Kill the Power Play was by Roberto Schiavini games.
Winnipeg and New England.
Yeah, Winnipeg, New England, WHA finals, game 7. It went to game 7, and it went to overtime. Right? Went to overtime. And the overtime, one of the teams was favored. I think I said he was favored by 6. There was a 6-point favorite roll in overtime. Okay? So in other words, when I rolled the 2 dice, I added 6 to the whichever team it was. You got a 10-sided dice. You'd have to roll like a 10 and a 1 or a 10 and a 2 to beat him. I rolled a 9 and a 2. And when I added 6 to the 2, it was still 8. And so the team that was heavy underdogs in overtime pulled it out and won. That was really fun. The only thing, though, that you don't get with the quick play games are all the individual stats. Yes. Some of them build them in, okay? Ultra quick hockey, you buy
goals, right?
Yeah, with final score hockey right down, you get the decade. Okay, you buy the 70s, you buy the 80s, you buy the 90s. You get the decade for what, $10 or $11, whatever, sometimes $8. The ultra quick hockey, you buy one season for $10 or whatever it is, but it gives you all the players so you can roll. It's kind of artificial stats, if you will, but you can roll after the game to see who got the goals.
Put some meat on that bone.
Yeah, so there's a few games like in regular season basketball does the same thing. You can do the quick play, which I love because it's 3 minutes at a time, and you feel the ups and downs of the game. It's really fun, but if you want to go roll by roll and figure out stats, you put some meat on that bone. Now that goes from a quick play game to probably a medium play game because it's something you can't resolve in just a couple of minutes. So, but the quick play games that I play, I have certain things in mind for them. It's something I don't want to spend a lot of time on, but I want to have some enjoyment, and I can bang them out. And I usually have a lot of fun with them. Like I say, the golf games, you can go round by round. One of the ones there was the Roberto Schiavini Heroes of the
Majors.
The Majors. I took all the golfers that were in that season, and I rolled 2 rounds, and then I cut a whole bunch. I rolled a third round, and then I took the top 8 and went hole by hole. So that almost turned into a medium game when you go hole by hole. because that's 18 holes per golf. So I guess it depends how many golfers you want to do hole by hole, which is like inning by inning with baseball. So it almost creeps into a medium style game. But I have really found that, you know, some people don't like the quick play games. They really want to get into the play by play, whether it's basketball or football or hockey or baseball. They want to go every at bat. You know, they want to see the stats, and that's half the fun of it. But the quick play games, there is quite a bit of fun to have with the quick play games.
Well, there is just such a variety of things that you can buy outside of the big four. And let me, you know, it may not seem like I've just spent 40 minutes to do this event. That might not be a quick play game, but okay. But how else are you going to do a car race? Or, you know, you can't do a 100-meter dash. You can't simulate that in 9.78 seconds. It's just not possible. Yes, you can do your 2 rules for Usain Bolt and be there. But it gives you enough tension. I think that the thing is that we want to create in our gaming experience, we want to create enough tension in the event to make it worth the while. So yes, so you have it set up so Philly and Toronto are going to do a best of 7 in a quarterfinal, and you've got your rolls there. And so in game 1, it's 4-3 Toronto, and then you get back and forth. But by the time that you took that 2 minutes to resolve that series, you might have gotten an unexpected result. You might have had the favorite win 3 games in overtime. They might have had to use a clutch roll to get it. Whatever it is, in a highlight-type fashion that gives you that experience. And you can do it in one sitting. You don't need a lot of room. So if you still have kids at home, you can't leave out. I mean, David and I don't have any kids. Dave can leave a table full of gaming stuff out, and it's not going to get touched. Okay? You got young kids. That Wayne Gretzky card became the crutch for Barbie to walk.
Right.
But it's Wayne Gretzky. Why is there? It's just there. You know, and so while you might take a week to do all those games and resolve it in 5 or 6 settings, with the quick play game, you can do it. You know, you get the preliminaries there, you roll, you get all the drama and excitement of a postseason series, and it's done in 10 minutes.
You said one thing, too, that you get that instant drama. Whereas if you're playing a game out, whether it's a baseball game, a hockey game, or football, basketball, whatever it is, and you're playing, you know, it's going to take you 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
Right.
Yeah, that game, it might be over after a half hour. And now you're playing it out, and it's like, oh, man, I'm playing this out just to get to the end. It's 9-0.
The whole Mendoza game.
Yeah, and
it
was
7-2 in the bottom of the 7th. The Dodgers were going to win that. The Dodgers were easily going to win that. And then the bullpen showed up. Yeah. And so that's why, you play the games out, because you don't know. And that's the great thing about baseball, is that the game doesn't end until you run out of outs. On the other hand, you know, if you're sitting at the tabletop and it's 10:30 at night, and you're really going to go ahead and finish that game, or you're just going to say, oh, it happened to rain.
Yeah.
Final score.
Well, you don't know. But what I was getting at is that when you're doing a quick play game, if it's 1 roll per team, the drama's right there. It's the tip of the needle right there. That's the end of the game. So you're in fact rolling the entire game in one shot. So all that buildup is there for that one dice roll, and good or bad, it's you know, it's a flip of the coin right there, and that's what I think's fun about those, because especially when you're playing a series. Okay, it's 3-1. If I don't win this one here, the series is over. Here comes a dice roll. And there's your thrilling moment right there, is watching that dice come up. You know, does this team survive, or did the other team win the series, or whatever it is? It's not drawn out. It's not a 9-inning game where you're playing batter by batter, or a 3-period hockey game, or anything like that. It is right there during that roll. That is your excitement. Absolutely. And you get that like bang, a bang, a bang. You know,
especially for teams that you don't necessarily want to follow. I mean, I guess that for hockey, that would have been the Norris division in the 80s. Apologies to fans of Chicago, Detroit, and St. Louis and Toronto. But, you know, when we're kind of focused on what the Bruins are doing or what the Canadiens are doing on a night-by-night basis. Oh, yeah, and the score from Toronto, St. Louis 4, the Maple Leafs nothing. You can kind of roll that. You can spend that 4 or 5 minutes and get that excitement of the series without committing to
a long-term project, so to speak. Right. One that, like I say, might get interrupted with something in the whole bit. So you can bang out that with a quick play. And again, it's like you roll, you get that final score instantly. And then what happens? You go to the next game. and you're on the edge of your seat again, rolling the dice one time for that final score. And that's the enjoyment that I get out of it, is that everything is right here. There's, and I've played the long play games, and I've enjoyed that myself, and I enjoy watching the game build up to the end to see how it finished. And I've had some fantastic finishes as of you with the longer play games. But with the quick play games, that excitement is right there. It's a flash in the pan. It's like, boom, there it is. There's that excitement. And again, 4-2. Now we got to come back, and now they go back to Toronto for 2 games or whatever it is. So the quick play games are like instant gratification, I guess, as I would call it.
Yes.
And there's a lot of fun to be had with those.
Great for whatever individual projects that you want, especially for tennis. Roberto Chavini has a good tennis game. There's a few good quick play tennis games out there. That if you'd want to go through and all the excitement of a tournament, pick your 32 players, go for it. You can sit there maybe in 2 settings and resolve that. Or if you just want to do a semifinal, take your favorite 4 tennis players and battle them out. You can be done in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's fun. The Heroes of the Majors, that golf game by Roberto Chavini, when I went to the hole by hole, which went pretty quick. Again, it was 1 roll of the dice, maybe 2. If you hit a certain number, you might roll again to determine that score for that hole. And that moved pretty quick. But I tell you, I rolled the dice, and one guy went 8 over par on the hole. So a par 4 turned into a 12.
Water will do that.
Right? So he had a bad hole. But that can happen in a quick play game. And another guy got a hole in 1. So it wasn't just he got a par, he got a birdie, he got a bogey, he got a par, he got a bogey, he got a bogey. It was like, uh-oh, this guy's in trouble. Oh, my gosh, 8 over for the hole. He just went to town. He just screwed it up, put it in the water, 3-putted, And then this other guy, par 3, got a hole in 1. I mean, so that was awesome. That was a quick play, 1 roll. Oh, this is a great, what did I roll? Oh, he got a double eagle or an eagle on a par 3. That's a hole in 1. However, it was a hole in 1. And so I had all kinds of things all over the board in this quick play game that made it really fun. So, yeah, I've had so much fun playing the quick play games. And I know some people, if it's not your thing, that's fine. But
there's not a lot of detail.
Yeah,
it really is. You really got to create your own drama with it. You got to be in the mood, I would think, maybe to do that, because it really doesn't give you any stats. It just can be final score, final time, final position, or whatever. But those are the downsides. If you don't want to see Edmonton 7, Chicago 4, okay, maybe that's not very fun. What Gretzky do, what Messier do. Okay, I get that. But if you're just trying to get some bulk stuff out or supplement your own replay or Cards and Dice replay, or as Dave does, here's a tournament. I want to do a regular season NHL Cup. And so everyone's going to get the chance to do it, or a bunch of different years. I mean, the possibilities are infinite.
Because if you sit down and say, I'm going to do this tournament, and I'm going to take 8 teams, and they're going to play everybody 4 times, and it's going to be 50 games in this tournament. If it's an hour a game, that's 50 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, that's great. For me, I would rather do a quick or a medium play and bang that thing out in 2 or 3 hours and get my results. It's not, like I say, it's not as satisfying, but that would get you the results, and it's still very enjoyable. And again, I like that rolling the dice. You get the one shot at it, and it really makes it kind of fun. So, and what was funny too is that there was this one guy in the community. Well, we'll just call him Al, just to pick a name. Just to pick a name,
It's just Al.
Just a fictional guy. No, he's a real person, but I don't want to give away his real name. We'll just call him Al.
Okay.
And I had played the Mike Seelock football game, and I played the entire season, and I streamed some of it, and he was like, "Yeah, that's neat, but I don't really like quick play games." And then 3 or 4 days later, he's playing Mike Seelock football, and he's screaming and yelling to the mic, having a grand old time. And he's like, I can't believe how fun a quick play game could be, because he always played the longer games. And so he was, I don't want to say he's a convert, but now he's got a different view of it. He saw somebody playing a game. He's like, I don't know how much fun that could be. And then he played it for himself. He's like, wow, this is really fun, because I can play a bunch of games really fast, get a lot of results, and
It'd be like, spending a whole day watching football or playing football and then flipping over at 7:30 to watch Chris and Tom do NFL primetime. Okay?
Yeah.
You kind of know who won the games, but you got caught watching the Patriots and the Dolphins when the Raiders and the Broncos were the big game. And so you want to see what happened in those other games, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's fun seeing the standings grow so fast. If you're playing a season or whatever, as you play those games, and the standings fill up quick, and you get a lot of data quick, But you sacrifice the full enjoyment of the game because you're getting just a final score, so to speak, or maybe inning by inning. So you're not seeing who hits the home run or who scores the goal at that time. You can tack it on at the end with some of these games, but for the most part, it's just a number. And so you don't get all the stats, you don't get the full enjoyment of the game. And sometimes, you play a game for an hour and you have a fantastic finish. Like when I played the Appa baseball the other night, Sox were trailing. All of a sudden, Fisk, I think it was Yaz and Fisk, back-to-back home runs. Turns a 5-2 game into a 5-4 game. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then I got to the end and I think they put 2 runners on base in the 9th and they couldn't score. Now, you don't get that with a quick play game. You don't get the back-to-back home runs by Fisk and Yaz. You don't get the Sox putting 2 guys on with 2 outs in the 9th trailing by a run. You don't get that drama of it because it's just a number rather than all these stats. But there's still a lot of fun to be had in the quick play games, and you can play them in bulk. And that's what and the great thing is it's a choice. We talk about choices is you can play the long play games, or you can play the quick play, or you can combine them. Like you said, you use a
big compliment to each other.
Filler games. You want to play? I want to play my Bruins out the full game. I do, and then I want to play the other 6 games. I just roll the dice, and I get my scores, and I don't have to play games I don't want to play. So they have a nice little fill-in role with the bigger games, but they also stand up by themselves pretty good, most of them. And the last thing I'll say about the quick play games, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, the price is usually very affordable and very reasonable. And depending on which one you get, again, the more meat on the bone, the more they usually cost. But you can pick up some of these things for a few dollars and play and get all kinds of fun out of these games. Some are even free. The C-Lock games, he puts them up there. Now, they're real fast. That football game is just like 4 rolls. Boom, 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 boom. You don't factor in anything. You just look at the chart and you're done. And that was kind of fun. So, yeah, you're not spending, 20 or 30 or 40 or more per season on these things. You're getting them between $5 and $15 usually for a season. And depending on, I find the ones that have players and rosters and stats
are going to be more
because there's more research.
There's a lot of work put into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. Yeah, exactly. And you don't mind that. And there's others that are just a team rating, overall team rating, and no names at all. And those are fairly inexpensive and very affordable and very fun too. So the different quick play games is what we're talking about. So you got the ones that it's just a team to the final score. You got some that maybe drift into medium play games that add individual players, so you can come up with individual stats if you'd like that. So that's almost like a happy medium between that and the full-fledged game. And then, of course, you got the full-fledged game. It takes you between half hour and hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes to play them. And sometimes those marathon games can be fun. They really can. Yeah.
But you could, yeah.
So anyway, we'd like to know your thoughts on quick play games. Do you play them? Do you not play them? If you do, what do you like about them? If you don't, tell us what you like about them. Do you use them for filler, like we talked about, or do you use them on their own? Have you done some projects with them? Have you even tried them? Because some people, like I say, like this guy, this fictitious guy, Al, he wasn't a big fan of them. And he tried them, and now he's like, geez, I can see where the enjoyment is with a quick play game. So, and I know they get a bad rap a little bit from some people, just because it's like, I want to play this. I don't want to just roll one set of dice. But, I mean, there is fun to be had in them. And there's so many of them. I have folders over here of quick play games that I picked up over the last couple of years or so. And they're fun. And some do a little bit different than others. And, when you have that close game factor at the end, I like that. It just gives a little bit of drama to the end of the game. So, anyway. Any final thoughts from you?
I think that's pretty good. And I really enjoy them. And especially with Roberto stuff, you can have them in sports that you would never think of games. Let's say you were a weightlifting or a diving fan. There's not a lot of choices for weightlifting and diving games, but you can resolve a weightlifter's Olympics in 2 rolls.
Right. Yep.
So you can make that as long or as short as you want, and again, you build the drama as you go through the field. Who can beat that last lift, or who can get that last dive? And so, yes, I do think that there's a lot of drama in those that you would think on the surface isn't there. Yeah. And it really is.
And they're usually quite easy to play, too. You're not, okay, this guy's got the ball, the puck, or whatever, and I need to compare him to the other team's defense and then subtract his left wing or subtract the pitcher's arm rating. There's none of that. It's a pretty straightforward, Team A versus Team B, offense, defense, there's your modification. And so there's very little math to be done in the game once you get that last modification done. So it's they're usually quite easy to play, and they're fast, and they go pretty quick, and hence why they're called quick play games. So let's wrap things up here. Episode 41. Here we go.
Okay.
So you've been listening to the Digital to Dice podcast, episode 41. Quick play games. We talked a little bit about quick play games. We talked a little about what we're playing and things like that. Ways to get a hold of us. DigitalToDice.com is our website. Our phone number, 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. Send us a text message. Say hi. And also on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digital-to-dice. Join us there and have fun with some of the discussions. Ron, thanks for joining me on this fine day.
As always.
We had rain this morning,
Did you really?
We did. Hopefully it's going to be better today. So we'll talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.